This has been Claire, and I'm here with another episode of Meals. Not quite in pajamas though. So I recently purchased this off of TikTok Shop. It is the perfect little cookbook with Disney inspired foods that I was doing already. I wanted to make a series of just like princess inspired foods that I would make myself, but then I came across this and saw that they already had a cookbook. So this cookbook has 50 recipes, and I am going to do the scones, the Merida scones today. It is a breakfast item. It's one of the ones that I was looking at that I really wanted to try out. I am going to kind of modify it a little bit because I do not like raisins, but I'm going to follow the cookbook. I've never made scones before, so this will be my first time. So follow me as I make the scrumptious Scottish scones. All right, so first things first, look how beautiful it is. It is also Tiana in the front because she is the chef of the princesses. So excited. So like I said, I wanted to start off with breakfast. And the scones was the first thing that I wanted to try. It looks amazing. So I already have my oven preheated, and I did go and grab my ingredients. So I have those out. So now it's putting everything into the bowl. So in a large bowl, stir together flour, rolled oats, baking powder, salt, cinnamon, nutmeg, brown sugar, and a table knife. All right, so all of the ingredients go into one bowl. So let's go ahead and get that ready. All right, so here we go. 1 cup of flour. 1 cup of oats. Teaspoons of baking powder. That's 1. And 2. Alright, a pinch of salt. Alright, so they say 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I have a salt grinder, so we're going to try to 1/4 teaspoon should be 1, 2, 3, 4 turns. We're going to say that's right. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then cinnamon. 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon we're going to do. That's 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. I love cinnamon, by the way, you guys. You can't miss me on cinnamon. All right, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, packed. So we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so they called for 1, 2, 3, 4 teaspoons of butter, but then they want you to cut the butter into small pieces before you put it in. So generally what I do with that is halving it, you guys, just in case. And also if you've ever had to do this, I do this for pies because I make homemade pies. Halving it again, and then go in and cube. Because you want this to be able to break down. All right, so then you break it down into the 4 sections into the mixture. Okay, now they say with your hands, use your fingertips to pinch the butter into the flour until the lumps of butter are about the size of peas. I'm gonna use what I use for my pies, which is a potato smasher. It's actually a mixer. So what I do is I just cut through and mix it all together like that. Yes. Okay, I had to send my son to my neighbor to get some nutmeg because I did not have any. Me and my husband are baking different things. He's trying to perfect a pound cake, and I'm pretty sure he probably used my nutmeg. And I did not know I didn't have any more. But, and then just take the butters, kind of get them off the thing and go again. But let me add this nutmeg before I forget. All right, so 1/4 of a cup of nutmeg as well. Ooh, it smells good already. I know it's about to be good. Never made scones before, but I know I'm about to set this up. All right, so they want the butter to be about pea size in this mixture. They just what really is going on here is they want to kind of gel the butter into, break down the butter into the mixture of flour and get it kind of stiff, but not all the way stiff. Now, like I said, you don't have to have this tool. You can do exactly what they said in the book and use your fingertips, because I mean, I have to use my fingers to get it off, but this is my go-to when I make pie. All right, so it called for a half a cup of raisins, and I want to use blueberries instead. So I got that same half a cup, and I'm using blueberries. But you want to make sure after you rinse them, you get all of the water off because you don't want excess water in your mixture, because the blueberries are already going to put a little bit more water than what raisins would have. All right, so now we need in a small bowl to mix the white. Back to the recipe. All right, so we're going to mix an egg and milk together until they are evenly combined. Be careful not to stir too long or it will be dense instead of fluffy. What this is saying is make sure you don't stir too long. What you really want to do is not stir at all, but fold, so that you won't have dense scones. You'll have fluffy scones. All right, so let's get to it. All right, rule of thumb, we always start with the egg first to make sure that the egg is good, and it is, because otherwise you've messed up. All right, so start with the egg first. All right, so as I want to show you, because I did not record that. I just now realized I didn't record. All I did was fold the mixture of eggs. You know, I mix the eggs and milk, and then I put the eggs and milk in here. And so then I just started to fold it in. You want to be careful not to turn and stir this too much, or it will be too dense. Just spread out some flour. And you do want to get this all over your hands, because you don't want your hands to stick to your mixture. So you're going to stick that out and then grab hold of your mixture and kind of put it together. Alright, so here we are scrumping all of it together. I don't know what you're calling this word, scrump, but you're pushing it together and you're kind of rolling it out into a mixture like this, because then you're going to have to cut the pieces. So you don't have to have a rolling pan, actually. There we go, just pop that blueberry in. Kind of get it. They said circle, and it is easy to make the triangle with a circle, so let me follow directions. All right, so we're making a circle like a pie. All right, so we have our circle. Put every little piece in it. Now we're gonna cut it into triangles. Okay, so you want the circle to be 3/4 of an inch thick, and I'm guesstimating that this is right, because I'm not sure. And then they want you to cut it into triangles, so 6 triangles. All right, and then we're gonna take this and put it in the oven, and we'll see how it all turns out. All right, so now we take, and this is, okay, so what I love about this is I always use this to bake. It's easy to scoop pieces up like this and place them. So I'm placing them here. I have a pan, baking pan, but I love to use parchment paper when I bake, just because it's so easy. Okay. Then you can lift and bend. Oh, this one is a little crumbly. Shucks. So my pieces are not even, y'all. Like I said, I am not a cook. I am just a mother who likes to dabble in the kitchen. All right, so we're gonna see how our mirror starts. Now, I don't like this blueberry right here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of shmuff it in. Brother, I feel like that blueberry gonna burn right there, but we'll see. We'll see what it do. And then lastly, the last piece. All right, so we have our 6 pieces we're about to put in the oven. Now they do want you to brush some milk over the top, like a milk and a cinnamon mixture. They said you can, and then you can put like sugar on top and some oats on top. I have this thing about like crunch when I bite into a pastry. Like I hate when they put granulated sugar on top. So what I'm probably gonna do is set it with the milk so it can set and it can be smooth. It mix cinnamon and milk and mix in sugar so that there isn't a crunch, and then just brush that over the top. We're gonna put a little splash of milk. And honestly, that's a little too much. It's really all you need is like a little teaspoon. And then a splash of cinnamon. I like cinnamon, so I did a little bit more than a splash. Alright, and so I'm going to take a half a teaspoon of granulated sugar and throw in that milk. Alright, so I'm going to stir that together. Let that sugar dissolve. but then I still have the sweetness on top, and it kind of make like an extra sweet bite on top. All right, and then we'll just go in with a brush and brush it on top. Now, honestly, I feel like this step maybe can be skipped, but like I said, I've never made a scone before, so I'm following the directions as close as possible while still modifying to make it to my liking. Now, it did call for an ungreased pan, which is even better for the parchment paper, because I did not spray the pan. But we coating the top with that milk. And I'm thinking maybe because it's so dry, because I feel like this is even drier than when I make my pie. Look at, yeah, see, this one is all crumbled. I might have not mixed this one well. We're gonna try to fix this little piece. We're gonna add a little bit more right there. Fix that triangle. All right. Okay, in the oven it goes. All right, so these scones are supposed to be done in 8 to 10 minutes. Alexa, set an 8-minute timer. So just until they're golden brown. And then we let them sit and cool for 5 minutes before eating. So I'll bring you back the scones in 2 seconds. Really, this is the fastest bake I've ever seen, but we'll see how it works. All right, and here is the final product. The scrumptious Scottish scones with blueberries instead of raisins. All right, you guys, so if you are interested in making yummy food like this, go ahead and grab you this cookbook. This is like, it was very good. I had a little taste, but this is definitely for breakfast. I made it tonight. Will be breakfast tomorrow, but it is in TikTok shop, and I am going to link the link to the TikTok shop in my cart here. And hey, have a shot at it. Like I said, I've never made scones before, and they look really good, and they smell delicious, and they taste like breakfast on the go. So go ahead and grab you this cookbook and follow me for my next thing. So that's all for Pin Flair for now. Have a good one. Bye-bye.